Welcome back to Building Foundations for IELTS. Today, we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be focusing on helping you build a really strong foundation in English, especially if you're aiming for that for the IELTS exam.
Absolutely.
We're going to be diving into a fascinating piece called A Day in the Life,
Okay.
which showcases the daily routines of 4 college students from different corners of the globe: Australia,
Wow.
Norway, Brazil, and Vietnam.
I think it's going to be really insightful to see how these students live, study, and spend their free time in such diverse cultures, and how their daily routines are shaped by their environment and traditions.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you'll even pick up some interesting cultural insights along the way. Ready to get started?
Definitely. Let's dive in.
Perfect. Let's start with Ava from Australia. I'll read her story slowly so you can really absorb it.
Okay.
I'm from a small town in Queensland. Most people in Australia live near the coast, but we live on a cattle farm in the center of the country. I get up at around 7 a.m. and have breakfast. My mom teaches at my college, so I usually go with her in the car instead of taking the bus. College starts at 8:30 a.m. and finishes at 4 p.m. When I get home, I help my dad on the farm for a few hours. In the evenings, I try to watch TV, but I'm usually too tired. I go to bed at about 10 p.m.
Wow. Ava's life on a cattle farm gives us a glimpse of rural Australia. When she says cattle farm, she means a place where, cows are raised, often for their milk or meat.
Right. And it's interesting how she highlights the contrast between her life and that of most Australians.
Yeah.
By mentioning that most people live near the coast.
Exactly. It shows that Australia is a diverse country with different lifestyles and landscapes.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to Nina from Norway Expert Speaker. Would you mind reading her story for us?
Of course. Here we go. I live in a village on Norway's Atlantic coast. I get up at 7:30 a.m. and walk to college. Classes begin at 8:30 a.m. and finish at 3 p.m. After that, I go to one of the college clubs. These are not very expensive, and there are lots to choose from. I do athletics and football, but you can also do things like folk dancing and cross-country skiing. When my parents come home from work, my dad makes dinner and we all eat together. After that, my mom takes me out for a driving lesson. I've got my test soon and I need to practice.
Nina seems to have a very active lifestyle.
She does.
And it's really interesting to see how her routine reflects the Norwegian culture.
Yeah.
When she mentions the Atlantic coast, she's referring to the western edge of Norway, which is known for its stunning fjords and mountains.
Right, and those college clubs she talks about.
Yes.
Those are a big part of student life in many countries. It's a way for students to connect, pursue their interests, and make new friends.
Absolutely. And she mentioned some unique activities like folk dancing, which is a traditional style of dance in Norway, and cross-country skiing, which is a popular winter sport given their snowy climate.
Definitely. It's fascinating to see how these activities are woven into their daily lives.
Now, shall we head to a warmer climate? Expert speaker, tell us about Michael from Brazil.
Sure. Here's a story. I live in Rio de Janeiro. I get up at 6 a.m. and catch a bus to college at 6:30 a.m. Lessons start at 7:20 a.m. We have a break at 9:50 a.m. and then study until 12:30 p.m. I get home at about 1:40 p.m. After that, I often go to the beach with my friends to swim in the ocean or play beach volleyball, but I sometimes also just stay at home to sleep or study. In the evenings, I cook dinner for my family, then we watch TV or listen to the radio before bed. I switch off my light at about 10 p.m.
Wow. Michael is up bright and early.
He is.
And it seems like beach life is a big part of his routine in Rio.
It does, doesn't it?
He mentions catching a bus, which is a common way to get around in many cities, and then spending time at the beach with friends, either swimming or playing beach volleyball.
Yeah, beach volleyball is a really popular sport in Brazil, especially in coastal cities like Rio. It's a great way to enjoy the beautiful beaches and the sunshine.
Absolutely. Shall we meet our last student, Min from Vietnam?
Yes, let's hear about Min's day.
Okay.
I live in a busy city in central Vietnam. I wake up at 6:30 a.m. and have a quick breakfast, usually a bowl of pho or banh mi from a street vendor near my house. I ride my bicycle to college, which starts at 7:30 a.m. Classes finish at 12 p.m., and I often stay on campus to have lunch with my friends at the cafeteria. In the afternoons, I work part-time at a coffee shop to help pay for my tuition. When I get home around 6 p.m., I have dinner with my family. After dinner, I study for a couple of hours or prepare for group projects. I go to bed at 11 p.m., ready for another busy day.
Min's day starts with some delicious-sounding Vietnamese cuisine.
It does?
He mentions pho and banh mi, which are popular Vietnamese dishes, and getting them from a street vendor, which is a common sight in Vietnamese cities.
Yeah, street food is a huge part of Vietnamese culture. It's affordable, delicious, and a great way to experience the local flavors.
It seems like Min is a hardworking student who balances his studies with part-time work.
He does.
He mentions working at a coffee shop to help pay for his tuition, which is the fee for attending college, and also spending time with his family and preparing for group projects, which are collaborative assignments with classmates.
Yeah, it sounds like he has a well-rounded routine that includes work, studies, family, and friends. It's impressive how he manages his time.
So we've met 4 students from very different parts of the world,
We have.
each with their own unique daily routines. What are your thoughts so far, expert speaker?
Well, it's amazing to see how diverse their lives are, yet there are also some common threads, like the importance of education, family, and friends.
Right, and how their routines are shaped by their cultural background and their location, whether it's the Australian outback, the Norwegian coast, the bustling streets of Rio, or the vibrant cities of Vietnam.
Exactly.
Now that we've had a chance to hear their stories and explore some key vocabulary, let's put your understanding to the test with a couple of tasks.
Sounds
These tasks are designed to help you practice your reading comprehension and expand your vocabulary, which are essential skills for the A1 level.
ready when you are.
Awesome. Let's get started.
Okay, so for our first task, we're going to focus on reading comprehension.
Okay.
We'll ask you a few questions about the students' routines, and you'll need to choose the best answer
Okay.
based on what you've heard. It's a great way to, really test your understanding of those key details in a text. Ready for the first question?
Yeah, bring it on.
All right, here it is. Who finishes studying before 1 p.m.? Think carefully about each student's schedule and see if you can recall who ends their studies the earliest.
Okay, let me think.
I know, Rush, take your time. It's all about understanding those
Okay,
details.
I think I've got it. The answer is Min. He finishes his classes at 12 p.m., which is earlier than the other students.
That's absolutely right. Min's schedule is a bit different from the others because he works part-time in the afternoons, so he needs to finish his classes a bit earlier to accommodate that work schedule. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Who works with a family member after college? Think about who spends time helping out their family after their classes are done.
Oh, I remember this one. It's Ava. She helps her dad on the cattle farm after coming back from college.
Well done, you're remembering those key details.
Yeah.
It seems like life on the farm involves a lot of teamwork and helping out with daily chores, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Okay, what's next?
All right, here's the next challenge. Who goes out in the car in the evenings? Think about who uses a car for transportation in the evenings and why they might be doing so.
Let's see. It's Nina. She goes out for driving lessons with her mom in the evenings.
That's spot on. Learning to drive is such a common experience for young people, and it's great that Nina's getting some valuable practice with her mom.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm ready for the next one.
All right, here it is. Who gets a lift in a car to college most mornings? Think about how each student gets to college in the morning.
Oh, this is about their morning routine. The answer is Ava. She usually goes to college with her mom in the car.
Excellent job. You're really paying attention to those details. It seems like carpooling with her mom is a convenient way for Ava to get to college, especially since they live in a more rural area.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, next question.
Okay, here it is. Who prepares the evening meal for the family? Think about who takes on the responsibility of cooking dinner at home.
Oh, this is a good one. I remember this. Michael cooks dinner for his family. It's nice to see him contributing to his family by helping out with dinner.
That's a great observation. It sounds like Michael enjoys cooking and spending time with his family in the evenings. All right, ready for another challenge?
Hit me with it.
Okay, here it is. Who pays to do extra activities in the afternoons? Remember, some activities might cost money to participate in.
Let's see. It's Nina. She mentioned joining those college clubs, and those usually aren't free.
Exactly. It shows how dedicated Nina is to her hobbies and how she makes time for things she enjoys. All right, moving on. Who often rides a bicycle to college? Think about their mode of transportation.
Okay, I can picture them all riding their bikes now. It's Min. He rides his bicycle to college every day.
That's right. Cycling is such a common and eco-friendly way to get around in many parts of the world, and it seems like Min enjoys it. All right, here's the next one. Who has lunch with friends at the cafeteria? Think about where the students eat their lunch and who they might be with.
This one's easy. It's Min again. He often has lunch with his friends at the cafeteria.
You're on a roll. Socializing with friends is such an important part of student life, and it's nice that Min makes time for it. We're almost done with this task.
Okay.
Here's the next question. Who finds it difficult to watch TV in the evenings? Think about who might be too busy or tired for some evening relaxation.
Let me think. It's Ava. She's usually too tired after helping on the farm. All that physical work must be exhausting.
Absolutely. Physical work can be tiring, and it's important to get enough rest. Okay, last question for this task.
Okay, bring it on.
Here it is. Who lives a long way from the sea? Think about where each student lives and their location in relation to the coast.
Oh, this one requires some geographical knowledge. The answer is Ava again. She lives on a cattle farm in the center of Australia, far from the coast.
Excellent job. You've successfully answered all the questions in this task. You've demonstrated great reading comprehension skills by remembering those important details about each student's life.
Thanks. I feel like I've gotten to know these students through their stories and by answering these questions.
That's the power of language. Now, are you ready for our second task, which focuses on vocabulary building?
Yes, I'm ready. Let's expand our vocabulary. Okay, so how does this vocabulary task work?
All right, so in this task, we're going to be matching phrases from the students' stories with their synonyms, or words that have similar meanings. It's a great way to build your vocabulary and see how different words can be used to express the same idea. I'll give you a phrase.
Okay.
And you try to match it with its synonym from a list of options.
Got it. I'm ready.
Awesome. Here's the first phrase. Catch a bus. What do you think is a similar way to say this?
Catch a bus. Okay, let me think. It means to get on a bus to travel somewhere.
Right.
So a synonym could be take public transportation to travel.
You got it. That's the correct match. Catching a bus is a very common way to talk about using public transport.
Okay.
All right, let's try another one. How about folk dancing? What does this phrase mean to you?
Folk dancing. It makes me think of traditional dances.
Yes.
That are specific to a certain culture.
Right.
So I think the synonym is a traditional dance style from a specific culture.
Absolutely right. Folk dancing refers to those special dances that have been passed down through generations and are often unique to a particular region or country.
Okay, cool.
Okay, next phrase. Cattle farm. This one should be pretty straightforward.
Cattle farm. Oh yeah, this one's easy. It means a place where cows are raised.
Spot on. Cattle refers to cows, so a cattle farm is simply a place where cows are kept and cared for.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to have a driving lesson. What do you think this means?
Have a driving lesson. It means to be learning how to drive a car with an instructor.
Exactly. You're getting the hang of this.
Yeah.
Now, for the phrase help on the farm, can you think of a similar way to say this?
Help on the farm. It means to assist with the work that needs to be done on a farm, right?
Correct. To help on the farm could involve various tasks, like feeding animals, harvesting crops, or maintaining equipment.
Makes sense.
All right, next up we have do athletics. What comes to mind when you hear this phrase?
Do athletics. It sounds like participating in sports or physical activities.
That's a perfect match. Athletics is a broad term for different sports and physical activities.
Okay.
Okay, next up we have prepare for group projects. What do you think this means?
Prepare for group projects. It means working together with classmates on school assignments.
Well done. You've understood the concept of collaboration in group projects.
Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say.
Exactly. And for our final phrase, street vendor, what's a similar way to say this?
Street vendor. It means someone selling things like food or goods on the street.
Fantastic. You've successfully matched all the phrases with their synonyms. That was a great vocabulary workout.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned some new ways to express those ideas.
That's the beauty of language. There are always new words and phrases to discover and explore.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into a day in the life, I have a couple of thought-provoking questions for our listener.
Oh, I like it. Let's hear them.
All right, so first, which student's daily routine resonated with you the most?
Yeah.
And why? Think about your own daily schedule, your activities, your responsibilities.
That's a great question. It's all about connecting these stories to your own life.
Right, and here's another one. What surprised you the most about the lives of these students? Was it the Australian outback lifestyle, the Norwegian focus on extracurriculars, the Brazilian beach culture, or the Vietnamese street food scene?
So many interesting things to consider.
We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Share your insights, and let's learn from each other's perspectives.
Absolutely. And remember, consistent practice and exposure to diverse materials like A Day in the Life are key to improving your English skills, especially if you're preparing for the IELTS.
So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep into the building foundations for IELTS.
We'll catch you in our next deep dive.
See you then.